Welcome, Gary Quinn from Los Angeles. We switch now to English. Welcome, Gary.
Thank you so much, Christian.
Yeah, I said always our star guest from LA. He just came from Japan, worked with thousands of Japanese people. He's all around the world with famous people, with normal people, with rich people, with poor people. And you told me before that all these people have, in the end, the same topics. I want, before we start with the interview, I want to introduce you to the community here. Yeah, Gary is a worldwide known best-selling author. How many books did you write and publish?
The one that it's the ninth book that just came out.
9 books and in a lot of languages, right?
Yes, 12 languages.
12 languages. So 9 books, 12 languages. He is really a kind of global player in the spiritual world of life coaching. He is the life coach also of celebrities, of famous people, of rich people, but also normal people, spiritual people all over the world. And I think in the German-speaking area, Switzerland, Italy is very strong, Japan is very strong, USA, of course, is very strong. And when you saw his YouTube video with me, he shared so nice stories about other spiritual teachers like Dan Millman or Louise Hay. So welcome, Gary, and I would like to ask you my first question. Today we talk about your new book, and I want to ask you how to be your own business guru. This is the book title, and what does this mean?
Exactly. Good question. When I wrote this, it was really about that each individual has to take responsibility, and it's not really what you do, it's who you are that makes your brand, that makes you a success in your energy. Because if your energy is full of anxiety, stress, fear, you really will not shine in the authentic self of what the commitment to who you are. So as you start to understand that every day you have to raise the bar to be in this, I call it the winner's circle, to be in that mindset, to really stop waiting to have an opportunity to change. You have to create the change. And a lot of people sometimes do not change until they have a breakdown. So instead of breaking down, you have to have breakthroughs. The book is about really inspiring people to learn the language of, I call it the language of miracles, where in the business world, you're dealing with daily fear, daily stress, daily, let's say, emotions that are not really maybe in alignment to your spiritual path. So the word spiritual means clear thinking. It's not a religion. It's not anything that's trying to change people's views on things. It's really about aligning yourself with tools and techniques that get you to the next level, but to help you to facilitate opportunity or change that you want to create your own success, whatever that might be.
There are many people here in the festival who have big dreams. They want to contribute to a better world. They want to help a lot of people. And of course, they have to grow. They have to overcome obstacles. How can your concept of being your own guru help those people reach their dreams, reach their mission?
I believe that when a person wants to create change and grow within themselves, they have to really take inventory of what do they already have in their garden. What seeds are they already sprouting? And if those seeds are not sprouting in the right way and producing the crops or the flowers, they have to stop growing those seeds and try to replant new ones, which are intention, which are commitment, which is really taking stock of what they're already doing in life. And if it's not working, then they have to change with a affirmation, exercise, or really create the break the habit of what they've been hardwired to do in their current lifestyle as a business person. Now, I'm always telling people you have to motivate yourself to keep creating a dream. If you don't have a dream, you need to have one. Because if you do not have a dream, it's as if you have a first class ticket at the airport uh, with no destination.
Mhm.
So I believe the dream is really what you would like to feel, be, and have at this moment in time. And that can be anything. I had one client who, wanted to own a bakery, and she was not doing anything in that field. It was actually on the Isle of Man, and I said, well, just start baking and giving away your goods, your baked goods. And within 6 months, she had a thriving business where she had to hire staff and really start preparing breads, cakes, cookies for all the island hotels
Hmm.
and businesses. Now she's one of the top bakers in that country. But all I'm saying is that it's about really activating that power of the dream, but then moving as if. This is where people get stuck. They have a dream, but they think, well, I don't know those people. How am I going to create it? Where is it coming from? You have to look at your intention is your dream. And what you want to have is how would you feel if that dream was complete? Many years ago, I didn't have contacts in Italy or Japan or Switzerland or any of the countries that I teach in. I manifested it by the belief of putting the dream of saying, I will be teaching, speaking, and writing in those languages, or published actually. And within 6 weeks, Japan was the first one that appeared, and then Italy appeared, Switzerland appeared, Germany appeared, England appeared. So I believe that the power of our thoughts creates, the power of our words creates. One must be very careful in how they use their words and their thoughts. And when you start to look at how you think every day, it's how you are manifesting your situation at this moment in time. So all of it is a recipe for success, but along the way, you have to be inspired and motivated that, yes, it may not be easy the first couple of months, but as you continue to keep that pressure and that energy, the commitment will move you to the higher ground, and really know that, your intention is to be successful. We didn't come into this lifetime to stress about life. We came in to, make it a happy situation for our lifestyle.
Yeah, that is your what you describe means that you explain success as something very spiritual. That means you say you need a vision and you have to believe in you. You have to stay with your strong belief always. You are not allowed to doubt about your vision, but you have in the same moment to accept that the way to the vision, well, it's full of obstacles, it's full of growth, and you should enjoy that journey to learn and have the possibility to grow. So you're explaining success as something very spiritual. This brings us to the next question. I love your sparkling eyes. There must be something in you making you sparkle. And that is a very important thing, I think, in life. What makes you sparkle? Can you explain that?
I think to just be in the flow of life, and I'm excited just to be present every day in acknowledging where we are in our lives and being grateful. I think when you're in gratitude, you're not looking outside yourself to create success or happiness. You are already being it. That's the big difference. You already are it. Whether you have all the money in the world or not, at the end of the day, you're really taking the emotional state of mind that you're in. That is the key to understand. When we are excited about ourselves, we are attracting other people that really want to be in our energy. It's energy, really.
Originally, you were very successful in sport. You were in swimming, and my question would be, what did you learn from this top performance sport? This is question number one, and number two. Yeah, how was your way? You then worked with angels and your way more into the spiritual teachings on life. So my question number one is, what did you learn from sport, and what was so helpful, most probably, from all these learnings throughout your whole life? And secondly, how did you find then your way from the success sport person to the spiritual teacher?
I really started when I was 6 years old. I never knew what it was, but I knew I had something inside of me or through me, and I didn't quite know how it worked. I just knew I was able to almost leave my body and tune into other energies, other realms, other matrices. And swimming was a way of, I believe, really focusing me and teaching me how to believe in myself and to, train hard and really look at the opportunity of how can I be the best at what I have. And yes, in sports, you have a coach. I had several Olympic coaches, and the training was very hard, but the learning lessons were much greater than the training. And I believe that when one person as an athlete doesn't make their, let's say, time or their Olympic trials or whatever they're going for, they don't give up. They get back into the swimming pool and train, or on the track, or whatever, form of, ski on the ski slope. You never give up. And so I think that's what I learned as a athlete, is to never give up. And as I started to grow, when I didn't make the Olympic team, I thought, well, my life is over. But it really wasn't. It was just the beginning. And through a series of events from swimming, I entered the entertainment world. And in that mindset, I had to trust that I wasn't alone in that entertainment world. I had like-minded people that understood that I came from that creative mindset. And during that time, I found myself having the opportunity to move to Paris, France, for an entertainment contract. And I really didn't know what or how that was going to look. I trusted, even at a young age, at 26 years old, I trusted that I would sell everything and move to Paris, France, and never come back to the United States. I was going to be a pop singer, and I had a record contract. And when I arrived in Paris, France, the company had changed their policies with their producers, and there was no longer a contract, yet I was already there. And I found myself calling the company, and they said, there's no contract, there's no job here. Good luck. I'm going, what? I just moved halfway around the world, and basically I bought a one-way ticket because I never thought I was coming back to the United States. And I found myself in a real strange position of not speaking the language, knowing only two people, and not knowing what to do. And I believe that was like the worst, but the best period in my life, because you feel powerless, you feel hopeless, you feel like the rug has just been pulled from you. But I was an athlete in my mindset. I said, okay, I have to go back and I have to figure out what's the next lesson of growth here. And something told me to go to Notre Dame Cathedral, and I would do that every day for 3 weeks. And I didn't know what else to do. And I sat there for hours. I believe it was a way for me to stop my mind thinking and tune into a sense of spiritual meditation within, to go within. And I really didn't have time for that when I worked in Hollywood. And basically, I had a powerful event happen where, people say, oh, did it really happen? I said, yes, it was Archangel Michael spoke to me. And until you really have a feeling of that, you really don't understand it. Or if you're in a crisis, you really don't manifest it. But that was the catalyst that changed my intention. And once I had that mindfulness of that information, I continued to live in Paris for another 6 months. And then I returned to the United States, back to Los Angeles, went back into the entertainment world, and really started to understand that I was groomed to be a coach. And I was a personal manager agent to many stars, many actors. And so basically, my everyday training was coaching them to be successful. And what did that mean? It meant mentally, physically, and emotionally, giving them those tools. I had on the job training every day with 20 clients. And I turned, I'd say, 90% of them into working again and becoming stars again. And after that was done, I started really tapping into my intuitive skills, where I could really visualize, tune into what people needed to know that was important. I could look at an actor who was out of work, and I would be able to tap into a young girl that I said, I need to sign her because she's going to be a big star. And one of my, let's say, actresses that I found, she had done really nothing. And she turned out to be a big TV star. She's been on a TV show for almost 25 years, still to this day. And it was basically the vibration I got. So I started doing that for clients. And I had a lot of celebrities already that started to come to see me. Linda Gray was one of my first clients. Seal, Nastasia Kinski, all the Baywatch girls. And that just led to opening more doors to other famous names. And then I wrote my book. I wrote the first book, and that became an international bestseller that took me to 37 cities around the world. I started in London, and I was on every TV show. It was a dream that I would want to create for my actors to be able to teach this work. And then I started seriously helping people around the world. And then my work started growing into business people where they wanted to know what was going to happen to them. And that basically has taken me to all these countries. And yes, I'm very blessed and lucky to be able to have the opportunity to share my insights. But I think people say, how did you do it? I want to do what you do. I said, yes, you have to have the dream. You have to have the intention. Many years ago, one of my intentions was to work in Italy in every area of writing for an Italian magazine, having all my books published there, my audio, being on television. And within 3 years, it all happened. I was on many of the morning shows there. All my books are in Italy. They're all my audio. I wrote for a magazine there. So I believe that the key is to really believe that the biggest lesson I can tell people today is to really 100% believe that it's possible. Even if you think, yeah, but I live in a little town, or I don't know how can this happen. You can be anywhere in the world now and be successful in what you want to do. There are no limits. The only limits that there are the ones you place on yourself. That is the most important thing for everybody.
Wow, wow, wow. So many things in, and you describe a process of growing from nothing to a worldwide, well-known, famous life coach. So my next question, and you come just from Japan, working with thousands of people. My next question is, you work with very famous people. You work with persons who have a big responsibility. They are used to have real power and to use that power. They feel maybe, but also under this pressure, right? They feel pressure maybe because of this power. So my question is, on the one side, what kind of problems do these famous or rich people or persons from the business with a lot of power have? What do you work with them? This is number one. And number two, I'm 100% sure that all these people, they have a specific way of thinking. Something, they're just so successful or famous or whatever because of a certain way of dealing with their, to think, to feel. What can you share? What did you find? What could you learn from them?
I think the thing that I've learned working with business people or celebrities, more so than just normal people who don't have the responsibility of, running a company of 5,000 people or being at the mercy of, producers or a big movie company, is that their belief wavers of, are they good enough? Are they confident enough? Are they able to really step into those shoes without feeling like they're a fake or that they're like an imposter syndrome, where they might think, oh, I'm just a fake, that those people believe what I said. And so what I think that I'm able to do is be the voice of reason for them and giving them the other side or the inside of what they have to have as their confidence or their attitude shift so that they are committed to themselves or whatever process they're using in their business. And yes, they're humans, so they're not robots. So of course they're going to feel days where they're not positive or they're not able to rise to the occasion and feel 100% confident that they're running a global company or network. So I try to instill that every day or every session or every opportunity for them. And what I found is that they begin to lean on me, or they trust me for my energy. And if they are too long without speaking to me, they have withdrawals from me, and they go, "Where's my Gary?" Or they hear my voice when I'm not there. So I have these personal relationships with my clients around the world. They become like family.
Mm.
And I have that with clients in Japan, in Switzerland, in Italy, and England. So when I'm there, it's like going to visit your uncle or your sister or your brother. So I think that's important when you have relationships with people in any business that you do.
What I find very interesting that the Japanese people love you. I mean, the USA and Japan, there was something around 1944, right? They were in war. So what do you think? Why do the Japanese people love your work, love you? I have the impression that fits very good together. What do they need from you? Why do they love this?
First of all, they were so kind to me this trip. I received 3 Ralph Lauren shirts that were so sweet from longtime clients. Those 3 clients were clients for 16. I've been going there for 18 years. I couldn't believe it. And I think what they've always said about me is they say, Gary is very soft, but very strong. And they feed off my energy when I'm there in a session with them. And I have normal people who, work in fish markets. I have people who, travel 8 hours by train to come and see me from wherever they live. To Tokyo or Osaka, wherever I'm speaking or doing my private sessions. So I don't judge anybody. I'm happy to, see everybody. And I think that what I try to do is I try to turn the lights on for them. I don't try, I actually do. I turn the lights on for their souls, and then they go out the room flying. I mean, I had a young girl, not a young, yeah, a young girl who came to see me. She was a businesswoman. She was depressed. She was not happy. She did a private session with me. She took both my workshops. And on the third day I saw her, she was flying, sending me all these emails going, "You changed my life. Whatever you did to me, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I feel reborn again." So when I get feedback from that, I'm really happy to go there and be able to do that for people. So I'd say that's what I try to do, not just in Japan. I do it in all the countries I go to, is just bring a piece of that sparkling energy to that person.
You know me since more than 10 years. Yeah. We met together in a seminar you did with Isabel von Falwa in Germany with
Mhm.
regards to angels, love, and you presented during that time also your yes concept, right?
Mhm.
And then, yeah, we met, and I felt it would be good for me that I have you as a mentor for some time, and we worked for some time. And during that time, I had a hard time to find my way. I wanted to create something really big, and I wanted to contribute, but it was not simple for me to find this way, right? To have this breakthrough experience. When you compare me during that time and we used to do already Zoom or something similar to
Yes, we did. Yeah, I think we did Skype, or we did
Skype. Yes, that's what it was.
telephone. Yeah, maybe we did telephone and then Skype
It
came.
was Skype. Yes, yes. Okay. So during that time, so when you compare me and my energy during that time and now, which differences do you see? And yeah, please
Yeah, there's a
describe the
big
difference.
difference. I see a big change around you, Christian. When we first start, and I see this with many people, there's almost like a cloud around the person's aura that stops them from moving really forward, or they're on pause in their mind or their soul, and you don't have that anymore. There's almost like a sunshine energy that has emerged. And I see it with people after I've worked with them, and it might take a year, 6 months, or even 3 years before it sort of grows and then it flows. But yes, your biggest change is that your lights are on. They were on, but they were dimmed.
Mm,
And so what we did with the work was we turned it up, the dials, and this starts to create major change. And it did create major change for you. And it's a great thing for you to have changed. And I'm thrilled that you're doing what you're doing. That's like fantastic. And yeah, that's the dream, is to live your purpose of what your authentic self, what you want to do. And you're probably happier now than ever before, right?
100%. So it's I mean, there is a reason. If you're doing, we do this since 3 weeks, and it kills us a little bit because it's a huge challenge to do 3 weeks, almost every night a live show, then both days in the weekend. So and I have 3 companies. So but it gives me also energy. For instance, today, and I have the impression it's just a feeling inside of me saying that this is sometimes I decide something to do which my brain says maybe why are you doing this, right? You should save your energy and things like that. But as you described your own way as well, sometimes you have to follow your feeling, and it gives me energy as well. And yeah, you are right. I'm very happy, and what makes me also very happy right now is that I can this. Do together with Yvonne. Yvonne is great. She's doing so well, and I'm so proud that we're doing it together. She's just not here because she thinks her English is not good enough. This is the only thing. And all these people, they love to see us as a couple. Because we managed to grow together. Already there in the seminar, we were together. We decided we wanted to grow also spiritually together. And this makes me so proud that we not only earn money, but we're doing all together, right? And we are so
Yeah.
different. And this is the synergy of 1 + 1 is 1,000. This makes me very proud.
And that's great that you can work with your partner. I mean, what a blessing to wake up and work together for your business together. I think that's the key, is relationships are so important around the world with individuals and people. And I always look at myself as the ambassador to the United Nations. You can put me in any country with anybody, and I will be able to make it work and make it feel and flow. And I think everybody needs to learn that lesson, and to really just be free to be pliable, to say change. A lot of people don't like to change. Change is fearful. And I think you just have to go with the flow and trust that it's always going to work, that everything is about really your attitude. If your attitude is positive, you're going to be able to create, and then just persist, never give up. I think when people give up, they don't accomplish their goals. And I think that's the other thing. And the other thing is to be kind.
Mm.
And, I think a lot of people in my world, as teachers and speakers, they don't really walk their talk.
Mm.
They forget why they were put in those positions, and they begin to let the ego take over and not really go back to the basics, that this is a privilege to be able to do what we do to help people, and you never can take it for granted. And that when we are in that space of kindness and joy, that you never lose that. You have to live in the present, that, right now is the best time, and tomorrow might not be here. And you have to be happy with just today was a great day. This moment is a great day, and not say, oh, well, if I had this, I'll feel better. Yes, we want to accomplish our goals. We want to be successful, but the key is to be in the moment of now,
Mm.
of being grateful for what you have already, not what you're going to get or receive. And that's what my new book
Mhm.
is about really that authentic happiness and what that means. Because I think we lose focus of what happiness is. It's not money. It's not, how big your library is, how big your house is. It's really coming from the place of peace within yourself, to know that that success resides inside of you no matter what, and that life begins in this moment. And there is always another, let's say, moment. In every moment is a new beginning.
So good. We ask all the speakers about their 4 success factors in 4 areas. So I would like to ask you, in spirituality, what is your hint, your success factor you want to share with the community in spirituality?
I believe my goals in success for spirituality is to continue to use the trust of listening to my higher self, to really tap into faith of knowing that love is all there is, and that it's a constant growth, to be reminded to stay out of judgment and to be present in the moment of love and commitment to myself, and to be of service to people spiritually. And I'm not Mother Teresa or the Dalai Lama, but I always pretend that I'm their son. And how would I go to the world and help people or give them insight? And yet I do have to have boundaries, because I don't want to have my energy depleted,
Mhm.
but I have to take care of myself. That's the other thing, spiritually, nourish myself spiritually. And that's what I've been really focusing on this last year, is just really taking care of myself from the inside, because I was always so busy. I've got to go. I've got to go. I don't have time. I don't have time. You have to make time.
Mm. Yeah, this is very important. So, what is your business insight you want to share? What is your success factor you want to share in business?
I think in business that you want to seek relationships with people that are like-minded. Those are the relationships that create long-term success business-wise. You have to really ask yourself the question, will I be able to work with that person for 5 or 10 years? And it's not just for the deal at the
Mhm.
present moment, but it's better to turn the deal down if you don't feel that that person is the right energy for you business wise. I think that's one of the lessons that people need to go with their intention or their intuition, that if they say this is not a good fit, but on paper it looks like a good fit, you just step away and say, I'm sorry, I cannot work with you at this present time. Or even if their CV or resume looks all impressive, But when you're sitting with them and you're talking to them, there's not the synergy. You have to push back and say, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. So I think in business, it's really about planting new seeds with people and companies that you want to work with or opportunities, but really taking stock and asking yourself the right question. Is this a person I can work with? Is this a company I can deal with? And if it's not, you move on. And that's the biggest key. I think people just want to do business to be successful. It's like, no, you have to be very choosy in what kind of people you want to attract. And I think when you work on yourself, you will attract those right people.
Of course, of course. Now let's go further on to relationships. So I guess you had so many coachings also with regards to relationship in your coaching life. So what would you say? What would you like to share as a key finding, a key success factor for relationships?
I think for relationships, one of the main factors is to really look at yourself first, that you have to be in relationship with you first and be okay with all the good parts and all the bad parts of yourself and make amends with that to really love all of it. And then you will attract the right relationship within yourself, whether it's a partner or business relationship. It's really just you're putting yourself first, working on you. I think a lot of people look at relationships outside themselves to fix them, but that doesn't work. You know, you have to be working on the inside of you first before you can even attract the right relationship. So I think for relationships, it's really, and it's hard if, let's say, you've been married for 20 years or 10 years and you've realized this relationship isn't right because one person has grown out of the relationship or they haven't stayed in it together like you and your wife. So then it's it's not so easy to leave, you know, because you've got kids, you've got money, the house together. So then you have to really work on yourself and know that it's divine timing. The universe will, if you're meant to leave that person, you know, it will happen, you know, the right way. You know, I had four people during this time of pandemic online that when they started to work on themselves internally, they decided to leave their partners after 20 years, after 15 years, after 12 years, and disconnect. And some of them, I was shocked that they even were able to do that because there was a lot of things that were tied into them for many years. So it just depends. Life is short. You have to do what's right for you. I can't tell you what to do. I can guide you. I can give you insight, but ultimately you have to make your own decision. You have to say, I need to be okay with this decision on a relationship. And yes, and time is the essence of letting you know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
That's true. Let's talk about divine timing, which you said. 30 years ago on Monday, I met Yvonne. I was very shy during that time, very, very shy. And I always say, God wanted to help me, right? So for whatever reason, I talked to her during 30 years ago on this Monday, and yeah, we are 31 years together. What do you think is a strength? Why we are happy together after 31 years?
I think that there's a soul connection with individuals, and sometimes you'll meet someone and you might not see them again for 10 years, and then you regroup, and then you get married, or you say that it's timing. And yes, I believe we have lots of soul paths and lots of soul mates. It's just finding the right timing of which one fits at the moment. And yeah, there's some soulmates that are for lifetime. So I feel you definitely had a connection, or you were both ready to receive the blessing of being in each other's energy. So I think that there are no accidents. Divine timing is really letting the universe and trusting that things will be in alignment to you, of finding the right person or the right situation that you attract, like attracts like person.
That's true. It was the coincidence. So number 4, there is something which we definitely cannot buy in life. It's health. It's maybe yeah, in the end, everybody knows it's the most important thing. So what is your lesson you want to share for health?
I think you have to really uh, be aware of what we're eating and where you're coming from as far as longevity. And I believe that the health um, market is never as big as right now, but you have to become your own health advocate. If you had your own farm and you were growing your own everything, that would be brilliant, but not everybody has that opportunity. So I think you have to really search everywhere to be healthy. And nowadays we're lucky because there's organic foods around the world and you have to seek it out. But I think the one tip I can give you is to stay active every day, keep moving, whether it's exercise, whether it's physical fitness, walking around the block, whether it's walking your dog, going through a hike in the mountains, nature. There's a Japanese energy that people derive from being in nature, and it opens up your cells and it helps to regrow your energy. It revives you. And I think everybody has to work at health and wellness and really know that it's so important to eat right, really cut down on sugar. Sugar is the number one killer.
Mm.
And I have taken sugar completely out of my diet. I can't eat it. I had a real stomach issue at the beginning of last year,
Mhm.
and I didn't know what it was, and it's based on sugar. And so if I have a little piece of honey, I can feel the pain that comes in because I'm super careful of everything I eat now. And yeah, I think it's just really being aware of what listening to your body
Mm.
and taking stock of what you feel good eating and what you don't. And I think when you take certain things out of your diet, you start to really notice it when you have a bit of it. And I think, I'm 90% vegan. But sometimes I'll feel my energy will be low and I'll just go have some kind of protein once in a while. I don't do it all the time. But I think you have to listen to your body.
What
That's
do you
all.
eat? Fish or meat?
I usually eat fish, regularly, but I'm very careful. Sometimes the fish isn't enough,
Mm.
and sometimes I'll have a piece of steak,
Mhm.
which I never have. I eat it maybe 4 times a year,
Yeah.
but I know my body needs it. And there's a place in Zurich that I go. Uh, it's in Orlikon, and
Mhm.
they only have steaks. But when I'm there after a tour, I usually have 2 days left in Zurich. I'll go and have lamb. They have these little strips of lamb,
Mm.
and 4 pieces is all I need. And then I feel different, and I feel like, okay, I put the right benzene in my body. I'm okay. So I couldn't do that every day, but everything in moderation
Mm.
is really what it's about. I think that's the lesson in health and wellness. You can't just stop eating everything. you have to slowly, step by step, and really, but I'd say take sugar out of everyone's diet. It's the number one killer of people around the world.
Gary, I thank you so much for this inspiring interview. We have to come, unfortunately, to an end because it's so rich, so rich, so rich. And I'm looking forward to February 21 when I come to LA and have
Yes.
the honor that you interview me in your show.
Exactly. I'm excited for you guys to come. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And it's so great to see you again and regroup. And I think you're doing great work, Christian. I'm so proud of you and everybody who is blessed to have you as a, let's say, teacher, as a coach, as a company that works with you. They're very lucky. So know that everything is just moving forward and life is beautiful.
Thank you very much. And I love to see you in LA live again.
Yes, it would be fun. Finally, after all these years.
Yeah, we will celebrate that.
Absolutely.